Welcome to the Soul Tribe Podcast. The Soul Tribe Podcast was created to help you navigate through the world of spirituality, wellness, and self-development in an easy, grounded, and relatable way. We break down everything from the Akashic Records, manifesting, spirituality, and so much more. We want to help expand your boundaries and bring the spiritual world to you in a fun and easy way. Get ready to be inspired with tips, tools, and easy to digest information. Let's do this.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into the Soul Tribe Podcast. Today's interview is with Paul and Paul. Now, if you have listened to previous episodes with us before, at some point you may have heard that I was interested in access bars through the interview we did with Rachel. And from there, I decided that I wanted to learn to do it myself and was lucky enough to be taught by Paul and Paul here in Holland. And so we were really lucky to be able to interview them today. We really enjoyed the interview and it was very insightful because we didn't only get into access bars, but the other access classes that they have, or access practices, I guess they would call it. We got into those details and what access bars has, shown to Paul and Paul, how what they've seen, the transformations they've seen with it, with the tool. What are the tools they previously used to use and still sometimes use? And we also talked about this frequency device called the Healy. We also get into that. Now, Paul used to work with other machines that did frequency that was a little bit more complex to work with. It took a lot of work for him to use it on his clients, but he after discovered this amazing tool, the Healy device, that feeds you the frequency you need with whatever you're looking to work on. And I was lucky enough to be able to have a consult with Paul and read my own frequency, and it just kind of like matched with all the issues that I was having. So we discussed that. We discussed my experience in the consult. We discussed what the device really does and how it works. And we just talk about also their path into what they used to do before they were these natural healers. And very interesting interview. And also, I'm a big fan of them because, I went to class with them and I really appreciate the work that they do. And you can tell that they're very passionate about what they do, and they're very kind and they're very gentle and they're very supportive of their students and their clients. So it was amazing to have them on the show today for the interview, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And all the information you may need about what Paul talks about, if it's the Healy device or the access classes or their website, we'll be sharing everything on the bio. So look for that, because I definitely recommend you guys looking to the Healy device. Like, it is amazing. It's this, this way of being healthier without having to pop pills. And so if you listen further on in the interview, you'll hear more specifics about the Healy device and access bars, and I hope it's helpful for you guys, and look into it, because I think that everyone that listens to this podcast is looking to improve themselves spiritually and health-wise, and these are all tools that are going to assist you with that. And that's what Lorraine and I want for us and for everybody to get healthier and happier. Okay, so we have today Paul and Paul of the Conscious Health School of Amsterdam. Thank you guys for joining us today on the podcast, and we have many questions to ask you, but thank you for taking time to be with us today.
Yes, thank you. It's a pleasure.
And so you guys are access bars practitioner, healers, and teachers. Can you guys just tell us a little bit what tools you guys use, or what you guys use to heal and teach?
Well, actually, access consciousness is the overall organization, and you can learn there, for instance, access bars. And access bars is one of the body processes, and it is a very important body process. It's mainly, it's focused on the head, the points on the head, but there are different body process classes, and we studied that, and we were trained to give those classes.
Okay, yeah, because there's facelift and body. What do you call it? Body access? What do they call it?
energetic facelift class you have, and you have energetic body process classes, and there are several. About 60 body processes for specific different ones, and that work especially on the body. The axis bars are the points on the head. That's 32, and they work on a different way than the body process. The body processes are a kind of hands-on healing, and you connect with certain. You focus on certain frequencies, and you work with that energies.
Yeah, you connect to energies. You ask the energy to run, and then the energy runs, and then you do the body process, and it's hands-on healing. Instead of the bars, it's just gently touching points on the head.
And is it good for, like, because I heard that it was good for body trauma. Is it that kind of like operations, or I don't know, your body's going through a health issue or something?
Yes, there are body processes for all kinds of things. So there is one for circulatory system or your nervous system, that kind of things. But there is also for injuries. Physical injuries, but also traumas from mental. How do you say that? On the mental part.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like mental health kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, for instance, the axis bars, the points in the head, they are especially working on the brain, but also because the brain is also connected with the body. They also work on the body. But if you, for instance, like a process as TSS, the trifold sequencing systems, that's used. You've got it in the class as well. That's used for post-traumatic stress disorder, for instance. You can use it on other traumas, but for the energies that are stored in your brain, that the brain doesn't work as it should work, for instance, or that you have flashbacks because of the PTSD, but also the body contains the memories. Sometimes people have had a trauma in the past and they forget about it, but your cells memory won't forget it. So there are the body process classes for the hands-on healing, for instance, with TSS or zero sum of trauma or different other kinds of cellular memory, and all kinds of classes are specific, meant to be to get the relief of the energies that's still stuck on cellular level.
Yeah. Or on molecular level. Yeah. So it's on different kind of levels you can work.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes the body can react, and you think, oh, my body reacts, but it's because it has memory. And just by doing this, we have a lot of we gave a lot of classes, and we see a lot of beautiful things happen, and that people think, well, I want to stop to get the release, but I can't stop it. It's just and that's interesting. So they look very simple, but they're working it's very, very deep. So that's very interesting.
How would that kind of, obviously it's very different, because from what you're saying, it works, like it seems like it's deeper, but how would that compare to Reiki? Like energetically? Yeah.
With Reiki, then you connect, and a lot of other people, a lot of other energy work, Healy work. You connect with energies, and you work with symbols, etc. And for instance, you mean with the body process or the bars?
No, the body process. I know we're going to get into bars, but I feel like that sounds so similar that you don't necessarily have to touch the person, right, to transmit the energy and heal them.
Yeah. Well, Access has one phrase. They say bodies want to be touched, because if you touch your body, if you I don't know if you or it can give stress to the body, because the body has a memory that it has been touched with an inappropriate way or something like that, or it can be very soothing. And that's, by touching a body, that does more with you than just on a distance. And that doesn't mean that with a hands-on healing you can't stay away from the body, but these are body processes. Most of the time they say it's good to touch the body and then check what happens with it. And if touching, if you touch your body and something shows up, then go in contact with the client, because then there's a story that wants to come to the surface, and then you can do a clearing. You can do the clearing statement. That's one of the tools that you learn when you follow an Access Bars class, for instance, but you can see it online as well. And that's a clearing, that's a sentence. And if you do the sentence, it's like a magic wand, then the energy that comes up, then it will disappear. It will go out of your system. And that's really wonderful. Wow. Very easy, because the energy is coming to the surface, and then you do the clearing statement. And if the person is ready to release that the energy that's there, then that's a good job. Then you get it out of the system. So that's
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. And how did you guys get into this, or how did you find out about it?
Well, you want to start to. You want to explain?
Well, actually, we did all kind of healing stuff, and we also did constellations, family constellations, but also trauma constellations. And we noticed that, and we work with groups with that as well. But we noticed that not everybody is willing to get confronted with the traumas again, because, well, you get it in your face. If constellation is there, you get in the face what was happening.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't like it to go there, and very often people say, "Oh, it's not necessary anymore to go into those traumas and to be confronted again with it." But then I also always thought, yeah, well, how do you do that then? Because nobody, they only say it is not necessary anymore, but how? Well, and then Paul.
Well, we gave lessons in all kinds of
other
kinds of healings, with frequency healing, etc. And but well, at the moment, at a certain moment, I thought, well, I studied this for a long time. I gave trainings in it, but it doesn't resonate with me anymore. It was kind of, the energy was changing, and I thought, well, this is not what I want to do anymore. And then I sent an email to the company to quit my teacher license. And I said, well, thank you very much, but I'm done with it. I'm going to do something else, and I didn't know what.
Wow.
Yeah, well, of course, I've got my usual work with clients, but I didn't know for giving courses, etc. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I want to have a change. And then a few times before, I saw the words bars, Access Bars, and well, we're going together. We're going along for a very long time in the healing path. We did it. I used to work in a hospital for 17 years, and when I was 25, I started to study hypnotherapy, psychotherapy, and all those kinds of things of healing work, etc. So we've seen coming and going a lot of things, and when I saw the word Access Bars, I thought, okay, that was it. And I saw it the second time, I thought, okay, interesting. And then when I quit the connection with the other healing things, and I said, well, I don't want to teach this anymore. Then I saw it. I woke up at night and I went off, sat out behind the computer, and then I saw Access Bars again, and I thought, well, just read it. Just read it.
It's a sign. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a sign.
I read two sentences, I guess, and I thought, and I knew I have to go to do this, and I will teach that as well.
Wow.
And within a week or two, I did my first Access Bars class. Then within 2 weeks, I did 3 Access Bars classes, and then I did a foundation class. And then within a month, we started to give lectures.
First class.
Yeah. And that's, well, the fourth year.
Fourth year, yeah.
So we giving a lot of classes, and we followed a lot of other classes of Access Consciousness as well. And it's always nice to combine, if you do the bars or something like that, all the other thing you have learned in the past, it's not that this is instead. It's like the Indian natives talks about the medicine pouches in
Native
your
Indians, yeah.
native Indians. It's all everything is in your. What did it say?
I understood.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Proud somehow, yeah.
So it's in your medicine pouch, so you can get out
Yeah.
what is appropriate at the moment.
Yes, and I'm convinced that there's no no method that for everybody. So it's always for one this works, and for another one something else works. So it's for us it's quite amazing, and for a lot of people. But there will also be people that they don't like it, or it doesn't resonate with them. So
and the family constellations thing, I love family constellations. I've been to a few therapists and it's helped me so much. I want to do it. It's just a very long studying course, and there's no one that does it here in Cayman. But I always think like some people don't want to confront it, like you were saying. Some people, because you need to talk about it and repeat things, so it's like it is in your face. Whereas what you're speaking of is a little bit more. It'll probably be just as deep, I imagine, but it's not something people maybe verbally speaking of it might get even more traumatized sometimes, or be resistant and then not actually get the healing.
So that's true. And if you, for instance, have had a constellation and you see what happened, it's in your awareness. Then afterwards, for instance, you can connect with the emotion that you feel, and then you can, in the meanwhile, you can run the bars. So then the charge that it still has after the emotional charge that it's still there, then you can release that as well. So that's really interesting.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So you guys used to work with that or teach that?
Both.
Oh, both.
Yes, sometimes in a class, then releases come, and the people can't help it. It just comes because it's the bars release it, and it comes out. So we have to deal with that in the class, and otherwise Paul uses in his practice as well, of course, one-on-one. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, as a Akashic Records reader, I remember, especially the first few years of reading, we sent a lot of people to do family constellations. Like that was the go-to for the masters, to send people to confront things and deal with things. I mean, I remember having a reading of someone that couldn't get pregnant, and they told her she had issues with her dad, and they sent her to family constellation, and she went, and like 2 weeks later she was pregnant. It was So I've seen really good results with family constellation. Access bars, I'm kind of new to it, but I've loved it. Like ever since I went to class with you guys, I've loved it. Yeah.
So, and that's for your sister. That's with the bars. You don't have to go into the stories. The bars releases, and whatever your system can release, it will release. So we have people who say they were afraid for water, and then suddenly they went into the sea with the grandchildren, and they just loved it. Wow. So all kind of things can happen without knowing that it's happening. So it changes in your system without knowing exactly, or working especially on it. I hope.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. I'm unfortunately, the day I left Holland, because I was visiting Lucia, she did the course. It was the same day,
I think it was like the 2 days after. If not, we would have done it together.
I was like, do it on me. Do it. I would have done it. Yeah, for sure. I would have done it. Or I'm like, do it on me.
Yeah.
But I still have to try it. So obviously Lucia's a little bit more kind of versed in all this. She knows what she's talking about with all this. I'm fascinated by it, though. I feel like we've actually had a few people on the podcast have talked about it, and that do it, and that are facilitators. So we wanted to kind of go more in depth, because I know you guys are like kind of experts in this a little bit. I think, I don't know, that's what I believe, especially from everything Lucia's spoken about. So yeah, I think it'll help people.
And then how, so you guys obviously have each other to run it on. Do you guys do like this like schedule where you run it so often just to clear out anything in case it builds up?
Yes, well, we always try to do it at least once a week on each other. But well, not always is the possibility there, but we try to do it always. And it's not, well, you have to know, we're connected with the field, with everybody, with everything around us. So you're constantly influenced about everything that's happening around you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a bar session, or you had a bar session, then you get a bit more released and more focused in yourself again, instead of that you're so influenced by everything around you. That's my experience at the moment. That's what
I love that.
Yeah. And like, it's okay. So you guys try to do it once a week. What about someone that's going to you to get a session? When would you recommend that they go to you to see you? Like once a month, more?
It depends. Sometimes in the practice, people come and don't just for one session, just to get an experience. But if people come, for instance, with burnout or other kinds of problems, and then I say, well, for 5 sessions, 5 sessions, or that I would suggest that. But if you run the bars, then a lot of times it will 1, 2, 3 weeks, the change will come. In 3 weeks, the change will become even more, for instance. So it's because what the bars does, it's getting you release the electric charge that's in the certain parts of the brain, and that's the parts of the brain that you can't. The limbic system. I don't know if you know that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the cortex. It's not the part of the brain for the, how do you call that, for the cognitive functions. And that's why, for instance, if you go to a therapist and you're talking, and talking can be very good, it can give some relief, but sometimes like traumas, they are in the limbic system, in the different parts of the brain. And with your consciousness, with your daily consciousness, you don't have access
to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
access. Yeah.
I love it.
They don't have access to it. So you have to go in a different. You have to become in a different state of consciousness, and that's like what we tell in the bars class as well. You've got the beta state. That we are talking now, just the mind. Then you have the alpha state. Alpha is that you're driving your car, and then you think, well, did I cross that road again, or oh yeah, but you were not sleeping, but you were, well, you was kind of
Yeah, like how did I get to work and you don't remember doing it?
That happens to me every day.
yeah. Yeah. And then you have the theta state, and the theta state is the state before you fall asleep. Then your body feels very heavy, like if you did yoga afterwards. You have the yoga, then you feel you're laying in tadasana, and then you to release or to rest, and then you can feel your body is very heavy, and then but you can think, but you're not asleep, but you're nearly asleep. And that's the state. The theta state is the state where the brain waves are in that state, like when you are in hypnosis. In hypnosis, I used to be a hypnotherapist. Hypnosis, and you can go into the stories, and you can go to focus on something, because your awareness is focused on the theme you want to look at. For instance, if you are afraid of this or that, you can focus in, and the rest of the surrounding you forgot about it. But then you have to go and do the stories. But the interesting thing is that with the access bars, when you're running the bars, the brain, most of the time, the brain will come in the theta state as well, and that's what you can see on the film van the Dr. Vanin. He's a neuroscientist, and he works with Joe Dispenza as well, and he is he's showing what happens with the brain if you start to run the bars. That's really interesting.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
No, scientifically proven. So
Yeah.
that's interesting what it does. And he said, this is amazing. This is not possible. You can't normally to get in such a fast speed to
Short
get
time.
in a short time that you can go into the deep state of relaxation. And last week, for instance, I was with somebody called me, asked me to give a treatment, and she was very stressed, and so she couldn't hardly breathe, and it was really a lot of anxiety, etc. And I started to give the bars, started to run the bars, and within 5 or 10 minutes, she opened her eyes and said, "I feel more relaxed." I said, "Well, that's what you want, didn't you?" And then, so just, if you want more, just let it go. And then she fell asleep, and after that she said, "Oh, my head becomes very warm, and I'm so relaxed and really interesting." Yeah.
What
But
are
yeah,
sorry to interrupt you, because I'm like fascinated. What are the most common issues people go to you for? Like the most kind of craziest and like the most common.
The most common is people that want to have changes in their life and they don't know what to change and how to change, and they are a little bit stuck in the life, and that's the most important thing, I guess. Also with people with burnout, there was all kinds of you strangest, you said, or
Yeah, like the craziest or strangest that you were able to help them heal.
Yes, that's that sometimes, because access consciousness has for much more tools that are there. Because when you the access bars is the main thing to do. If you start what kind of Healy work or other therapeutic work, for instance, if you run the bars, then you get in the theta state, and you've got automatically you get a release of the electromagnetic imprints that are there. For instance, how do you call it? All kinds of beliefs and all kinds of things.
Your programs.
Your programs, exactly. Yeah. That keep you away from functioning the way you want to function, to live your life to the fullest. And so first, the most important thing what I learned is always start to give with the bar session, because the bars, if you
space,
it gives more space, and because if you are if you're so your mind is and your brain is
like tiny.
Yes, then you can't choose, because you have to have space to choose.
It opens you up. It makes you see things like in a wider perspective. Yes. Yeah.
And sometimes, and that's if you say about the craziest thing, but what normal, what is crazy? Well, interesting thing that I also do the atlas, the axis, the atlas, the axis. There's a vertebrae on the
first
vertebrae
in the neck.
Oh, okay.
That one, the atlas.
A lot of people have injury with that, or after a trauma, etc. And I do a kind of massage with an apparatus, and then to get that atlas on its place again. And afterwards, I always do a very short bar session of 20 minutes, and that's to get the system in the theta state, and to get the release of the things, the emotional and mental issues that are still there on the cellular, molecular or cellular level. And then I sensed it was really interesting, because it was a woman's, and I can't explain too much because it's private, of course, but it was a woman, and she has a job that was typically, well, most of the time it was done by men. And I thought, well, that's interesting. And after every time I get the feeling from, why did she choose that job? And she has had a lot of pain, but she did the job for 1 day in a week or something like that. And then I asked her, what made that you do that job? She said, I don't know. I just wanted to do that. And then, but finally it showed up that the job she did, that there was an entity, somebody who died, and he did the job, and he did want to do the job again, but he was looking for somebody, and he chose her. So when I did a clearing on that, the entity clearing, when I did the clearing, then she said, "Oh, I don't know what happens. I feel so much better. I feel like the how do you call it? The clouds are gone, and so this was so and it changed so much in her life. So that was kind of crazy.
Oh my God!
Very crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Or so that can appear as well. Yeah. So a lot of things can happen. Or yeah.
And
So you guys used coder. You were a coder, and you worked in the hospital.
I worked in hospital.
He was in the hospital. I was a programmer. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So you guys one day just went, I'm done with this 9 to 5, right? I'm gonna do something more spiritual, more healer. How did that come to you, or how did that click in your brain, and how did you process that information and allow yourself to abandon something that you did for so many years?
Yeah. Well, actually, I wanted to become a nurse when I was 18. And then, because I have, as a childhood on, I have had a lot of information from spirit, but I didn't know that it was spirit, and I couldn't talk about it because, I'm not 20 anymore. And then, but in those days, you couldn't speak about that. You couldn't talk about it, and then after that, I did my when I became a nurse. When I was a nurse, I wanted to do follow another study. And I want to work with people who has how do you call it, mental
issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I thought, if I have to give them pills, then and if I tell that I hear voices and I see things, etc., then I could. Then perhaps they say, you can take pills as well. So I thought, and I couldn't talk about it. So then I went to work on intensive care. I did an intensive care study. So because I couldn't work there, because it was not safe for me to do that. So I couldn't talk about it. And then when I was working on intensive care, later on I worked as a head nurse in the hospital when I was 24, I guess. And then I went to the library and I took a book out of in the library on the shelf. Well, no, I didn't took. I just my hand grasped a book and I thought hypnotherapy. I didn't know because
That's so cool.
1985. I didn't know that there was a study. Spirit gave me a lot of things that to help me to move from.
He guided you, yeah.
Yes, to get another pathway, and then that's how things worked out. So always getting the things like the bars, so it's like guided. If you are, you know that how it works, I guess.
Yeah. We know.
Yeah. So, and I want to write a book about all those things that I experienced, because I have had a lot of experience that people, for instance, died or tried to die, or where that there was something on with them in the hospital, and I couldn't tell because what was going on was not normal. Because normally you say, you've got a complaint, and then you can say, okay, what is it, and then you do a treatment. But most of the time, so they got the information, it was something that was really odd. How do you call it? It was not
strange.
Very strange. So doctors wouldn't believe it, and I couldn't say that I heard it, because then they'd say, you can't do the job, because I have a very responsible job at those days. So they say, we can't, we cannot, he cannot do his work anymore because he's.
You're crazy, basically.
Yeah. So after 10 years, I quit my job, but and 8 months later, because I needed money, because of some issues, I started to work in a hospital here in Amsterdam. And from the first day on, then there was also again there was something happens with me not with me, but with the patient, that I knew what was going on, And they say, well, that's not possible. And then, well, the patient nearly died. And I said, oh, you see, that's what, I said he is bleeding, and they didn't believe me. But well, when he was nearly dead, then they said, well, look at his tummy. It's now. First it was very soft when I entered the room, and now it's hard. And see, he's bleeding. And then they were just in time. But well, a lot of time people died, and I couldn't stand it any emotionally because I got the information. But if I would tell the doctors, they would say, well, that's
So you somehow would see what was going on in their body that the other doctors couldn't see.
well, that was spontaneous. It was not that I was tuning in and then I was able to see it. It was just plop. I got the information. I heard what's going on, or I saw it, or something like that, or I just knew it. And that was that was not so nice for me because I was not able to speak about it, and well, and they wouldn't believe it.
Yeah,
That's so sad.
Then I chose to go out of the hospital and start my own job. I did practice. I did a lot of things. First, I started with working with crystals and with crystal healing, and we gave a lot of courses did together, and it was interesting. And then all those other things came, and well, still now we always do what we think at the moment what we like to do, and so.
And okay, so that was Paul 1. I don't know, I'll call you Paul 1 and Paul 2. You were a computer programmer before you got into this.
Well, I'm not really before I got into this. I worked 39 years in the IT as a programmer, but then the companies was a fusion and people had to get out. So I said, if people have to go out, I like to go out because I like the puzzle side of programming, from how do you fix this and how can you fix that, but all the other things all the changes, you have to learn new programs, new languages and that kind of things, and I thought, well, that's not for me anymore. So then I got out, and then I just helped Paul more with the classes, and so I do the administration and the websites and that kind of stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah. And we do, of course, together the classes.
Yeah.
At least for the bars, I'm a bar facilitator as well. Paul is only body process class facilitator and the facelift class facilitator. I assist, but I'm not allowed to give the class.
And so Paul 1, you did hypnosis. Did you do a lot of, was it just hypnosis, like as in this current life hypnosis? Did you past life? Because you said you did it with Dolores Cannon, right?
Yes, also, yes, I did a study with Dolores Cannon.
And she does, I think it was past lives?
Past lives, yes.
Yeah.
And Dolores Cannon does also the in-between life.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. And so you have had experience with that, doing that, like on what do you call clients? Did you have experience with that, and did you see that it helped?
I saw a lot of good things with hypnotherapy, but then you have to go into the stories. And my point of view, and that's my truth, it is not the truth, that's my truth at this moment, that if you've got something here in the now, if an issue is active, if you have got struggling with something, for instance, at the moment, and you go into that, then when you can go to a past life, and that there's something, but it is always kind like a red thread.
Yeah,
you know that. Yeah? It's like if you pull the string, then you see this life and that life and that life, and
it's
then
all
you
connected.
can go on and on and on, and you have to change it here. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
So the interesting part is that if you focus on issues that are active at the moment in your life, why would you go into all those stories? Because it's just energy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make a connection with, for instance, with fear or something like that, and you put it in your screen before you, in the meanwhile that you get that you have had your bars run, then those your brains are active on the theme that you are thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah.
So you think about the issue while the bars are being run.
Like with EMDR, I don't know if you know that EMDR.
EMDR, yeah. I mean, I don't know a lot about it, but I heard it's great.
It's great, yes.
Yeah.
But then you have to go deep. You have to make also make a
The
score.
Connections and everything, right?
Yeah, and you have to go to the feeling. Really feel it very. So you have to go into the trauma energy as well. And with the bars, you don't have to do that. So
I think the good thing, at least what I see with the bars is, like access bars, is someone can come to you, say, look, I don't feel okay. I don't feel all right. I haven't felt all right for a while, or I have an issue. I don't know what it is yet. And they can just go and maybe even get it solved without even knowing what it is. Like that I find fascinating, because everything else, even Akashic Records, like you hear words or you speak them, you ask questions. So you have to be very vocal.
Yeah, and the first question I would ask, I learned from Access Consciousness, the first question you always should ask, is it yours?
Yeah. Oh, I remember you teaching it. Yeah.
That's
is this mine?
Question.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah. I still use that. Yeah, I use that sometimes. And I remember I suggested it to you, Lorena, one day. Do you remember I sent that to you?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, she sent it to me. Because that works for the Akashic Records too. You can ask that, is this mine, or is this something from past life, or something that's just stuck in my DNA, like my cellular memory? I don't know. It's sometimes it's hard to find things, even like through methods that you can talk about it, like therapy, like you were saying. Therapy, you can spend years in therapy and not figure out what the heck's going on, and you still don't feel okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so true.
Well, if you ask for an experience that is like a little bit crazy, well, or is
out there.
We did a lot. We did also not only family constellation, but also trauma constellation. That's a difference.
Yeah.
And then you can see of what kind of issues or energy is how do you call it? To say it?
The inner psychic dynamics of the person. So you have a
desire.
You have a desire. So you make a small sentence with your desire, and then for every word you can put a representative to stand for, and you ask them, what do you feel? What do you get? So it's not that if it is the word fear, that you have to focus on fear. You just experience what you feel at that place. So, and then it can also be that you say, oh, he's acting like my father, something like that. But then it's an inner an inner piece of yourself, like your father treated you like that, and you're now treating yourself like that, because that's the programming that you got from your father. So that's what becomes visible, for instance.
Yeah.
So that's a nice way to find out what's, if you have a problem, I can't do this, or I always make mistakes choosing a partner or whatever. So you can see what's happening in your system, what's going on that you can't do that.
Yes. And at the moment we were very active, because when we get in touch with Access Bars, we were giving courses, giving trainings or courses, or helping people with the constellations this way, the trauma constellations. But then we were also sitting in a group with colleagues and working together on our own issues.
Yeah.
But after we have had a bar session, the first bar session, then we felt great, and we thought, well, why should we go into all those things?
Well, it didn't feel like I need a
No.
constellation at the moment, because you when you did that course, then you get so many let's say 6 or 7 constellations you can do yourself for yourself. But we all the time said, well, I feel fine. So I don't feel I have the need for a constellation at the moment.
And the craziest thing was there was a woman in our group as well, and she was suffered with a lot of issues, really things about all kinds of
issues and
abuse, etc. And she has a really long way to go, you would say, to recover from that. And then she said,
what did you do?
What did you do? Because you're so happy lately. And what changed? What did you do? And I said, well, we did bars, blah blah. And well, I want to do that as well. So well, okay. With classes. So we gave her classes, and later on we came as a group. We came because it wasn't finished yet, because it was we were dedicated to do that with each other to do the group. And then after, well, the next time we saw her. Then she was sitting and she was smiling, and she said, no, "I don't need to have a how do you call it, a constellation at the moment. I feel very fine."
Wow.
because normally if people come to me with a lot of time, people come to me for most of the time for traumatic things, and then in the past. As a therapist, I would, if people say, well, how many sessions do you think I need? Well, if people are really emotionally have a lot of trauma, then you don't think in terms of how many sessions. You might think in years, because you can't. Because it's hard to digest every step that pops up. But with the bars, it goes totally different. So I like ease.
And it's just easier, and it's probably going in such a deep level that it might even heal other things that you don't even realize are there.
That's right. Exactly. That's what it does.
And also what we noticed, not only the mental things, but also physical things. We have once in a class that a lady, we were an odd figure, so then we participate giving and receiving bars as well. So Paul was working on a lady, and during the session she just started to shake with the arm, and Paul said, okay, what's going on? I don't know. And then the tears came. She said, I don't know, it feels very heavy, but I don't know what's happening. And I feel, it doesn't feel fine. So Paul said, well, is it okay if I do some clearings? And she said, yeah, okay. So Paul did clearings, and it came ease. She came quiet, and after the session, Paul asked, okay, how are you feeling? She said, well, it was very heavy, and I had to cry, but I don't know why. And she said it was very heavy with my arm, and but she said after you did the clearings, it all became light, and I feel fine. I feel very relaxed, and she said I feel great at the moment. So in the break, she went out for a smoke, and she came back and she said, well, I have to tell you, I was looking that it would be heavy for me, because I for a year or something, I have a tennis elbow. Oh. He said, I have so pain. I was afraid I can't keep my hands so, because I had pain. She said, the pain is gone.
Wow.
Yeah. She thought she wasn't going to be able to do the give bars because of her tennis elbow. Yet it got better.
And 2 weeks, well, it was gone. And after 2 weeks, she came for a body process class. So normally we don't do a walk in the break. There's no time for it. But that day, I wanted to do a walk, and she said, "Oh, I like to walk with you." It's okay. So we walked in the park, a small walk here in the park. And then I asked her, "How's your elbow?" She said, "Oh, great." She said, "And that's not all, because I'm painting the house, and I'm doing this and that." And my family said, I can't recognize you, because she said, because and she didn't tell me, because it was just a class. It's not a therapy session, so I don't know much about the people. And then she said, I was a chronic back pain patient. I was completely, how do you call it? Disqualified for my work. No, not
She couldn't work
disqualified.
because of her back?
Yes, for years.
God.
And then she said, that's interesting. And then she said, normally I couldn't walk with you here. Then I have to sit every
bench.
bench I have to sit because my back was hurting so much. After that, the day, she said, I'm pain free. I don't have pain anymore.
What?
So that's
Oh my
because,
God.
because there was she lost her son. Her son was died, and he has a very long. He was very long time. He was ill, and well, that was a trauma also in not only in her brain but in her body as well. And then it was gone. That
It's
doesn't
so true,
mean
though.
that if people with back pain that it will always be that way, but
No, but you do. Your body holds on to pain with trauma. It's so
that's right.
true.
Yeah. So that's a very nice.
So wonders can happen. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing what we hear from people. What's happening. Yeah. It's amazing. And in this case as well, that's only with on the class. The 2 sessions in the class did it all.
Yeah.
It's so amazing.
Yeah. I think for me, what I picked up on the most was I got creative after I did the class with you guys, because in the class you give and you get. And so I had crazy dreams that night, I remember.
Okay.
Like really weird dreams, which I didn't understand, but I was like, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I realized that they were like heavier. Maybe I was getting rid of stuff. Yeah. And then I woke up the next day, and you can ask Lorena, like I was like, I'm going to read you our whole website. And I redid the whole website, and I made it much better, and I like changed all the code, and before I was like, no, let's leave the website the way it is. And I was like, no, it could be much better now.
It's true.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, I woke up my ability to be more creative, and I guess believe in my coding a little bit more too.
Yes. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, and the tools, access, like in the class you get a lot of tools, and how does tools work?
You have to use them. Yeah, you have to use them. Yeah.
So if you don't use them, that's okay. It's a choice, but they work. They work.
Yeah.
And then they become automatically in your system that you use them. So it becomes a habit. So that's
So the other device or tool that I was able to use is the Healy medical frequency device. I think you call it, right? The Healy. So I got to run one program on me, but also I think the part that I want to talk about the most is I went over to have a consult with Paul 1. And like it's cool because it reads your like frequency fingerprint, and we did like a pre-talk before about what I considered to be issues for me and what I might have blocked in life. And crazy enough, the machine, it's almost like it read my mind. It kind of picked up on everything that I had just said that I had issues with. I was like, what? Like,
wow.
And like I said that I told my partner about it, and he doesn't believe in anything. So I told my partner about it, and he goes, no, he put it down the machine. I'm like, no, you don't understand. The machine reads your frequency. Paul isn't able to tell the machine what to say. And he's like, the machine read my frequency. My frequency is saying that those are my issues. It's just saying what I have issues with. I was like, this thing's amazing.
How does it work? Like the reading, how does it read your frequency exactly?
Well, how do you read? We are energy. We have an energy field. If you are doing a reader, what do you read?
Yeah, energy. It's energy coming to me with words or images.
So it's an energy device, and it's a quantum device. It registrates the frequencies. It make you connected with a person. You put, for instance, the connection is for instance a photograph, or like we did the resonance of your energy field. We do the. So if you put in the name, you take a picture of somebody, and then you hold the Healy. The Healy, I will show the Healy.
Oh, you have it on now?
So
Oh, you both use it.
Yes.
And you can hide it. You don't have to see it if you are. You can put your things on the.
Cool.
Or you can.
So we should explain to the listeners what we're seeing because they can't see.
Yeah, we're like looking at it.
So it's like maybe the face of the size of your, a little bit smaller than your palm.
Very
Yeah.
small.
Yeah, and you carry it around with you, and it works with armbands,
Yes.
ear thingies too.
Or
Also, yeah.
that's the round stickers.
Yeah, behind your ear. Yeah, and then you carry it. You guys both have it currently hanging around your shirts.
Yeah.
And it's feeding a frequency for you right now that you need
Well,
under the program.
It wasn't.
It's not
It was
operating.
operating.
Oh, okay.
Operating at the moment, but it can. And well, like we did with you, I took a picture of you. I put your name in the on the.
And then we will let's say normally if you put your fingerprint, it's unique. So you also your energy fields. Every person has a unique energy field. So that can be read and saved on the app, and so and it's like what they also say, if you have a car and you have a key, if there are 20 cars, only your car opens with your key. So in this case as well, if you have the right frequency of you can open your energy fields for things to let corrective frequencies go in.
So it needs to read it in order for it to correct it first.
Yes, it reads well. It's for instance. Well, it's for staying health. It's not. You can use it for. It's a medical advice.
Device.
It's a device. It's tested for people, for instance, is fibromyalgia.
Okay.
Migraine, chronic pain, both pains in the bones, spinal pains, etc. And it's and that they have a medical how do you call it, approved.
Oh, it's medically approved. Wow. Okay.
German. Yeah, it's a German thing, and the interesting is it reads your energy field, what you need at the moment, and then it sends. It reads the energy of you because you're connected with. You took your energetic fingerprint, and then it works together with your smartphone and with the Healy cloud. This is called the Healy, and the Healy cloud is there where all the information, the frequencies are, and you download them via your phone into the Healy. And then you can switch off your phone
that transmits
and just put the Healy on. And with the electrodes, you can send the energy, and it will. And then the Healy will check your energy fields. For instance, if you have pain, chronic pain, for instance, and we can choose a program. But if we both have chronic pain, then it will deliver me different frequencies because it has a how do you call it, a quantum sensor. It senses what are the frequencies you need at this time, at moment of time, and then we've got really amazing results with it.
That's amazing.
Last week I heard that a family doctor has one himself, and he is giving advice to people that they should buy them.
Wow. Oh, crazy. That's like a really big step.
Really big step. Yes, because this information, this is something. So because before I worked with this, I also worked with a very big apparatus with frequencies. But then people have to come to me again and again every week or every 2 weeks. But now they can
treat themselves.
With this. And I like that. And we see very good results. So that's very nice.
That's so cool. So Lucia, you tried it?
So we spend most of the consult just because it reads a lot of information on you, and then it'll tell you, for example, you have this issue, and then you go into that issue and read it even deeper, and it tells you which programs would help you more. So this was like, I think I was there for an hour and 15 minutes or something. So about 45 to 50 minutes, it was just us talking about the device and him going through the programs to read what it is I would need. So it does a lot of like investigating, which is important if you're going to run any programs to know which one to run. And then I had about 12 minutes of a program run, which he ran the chakra balancing program on me.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like tingling, sensations on like my fingers and stuff, and I could kind of feel flowy, like energy moving through me. As for what happened after, like I had a normal day off, like left, I went back home and stuff. But I think that after that day, I think it was like the next day I started doing meditations. I was to the point I was doing meditations about 15 or 20 minutes. And now I do 40 to 1 hours. And that happened after I went there. So it must have activated something in me that made me take meditation to the next step.
Yeah, that's interesting, because every time you use the Healy, it works different. My first experience with the Healy was a colleague of me asked, do you know the Healy? And I said, well, I have that big apparatus where I work with, and I thought, well, I've seen that, done that. How could such a small thing? Well, all kinds of thoughts, of course, and beliefs. But he said, no, it's really amazing. So I went to her, and I slept very, very bad that night, and I didn't told her. And out of the test came insomnia acute.
Acute insomnia? Did you have that?
Oh,
no, but that I had. That night I had,
yeah.
because there was a lot of hustle here in the apartment, and well, blah blah blah. So I nearly didn't sleep that night. I hardly slept that night, and then it was. So she said, "Well, insomnia acute." I said, "Well, it's." Then I thought, "Well, that's well." Because
Very
the tests
accurate.
are so fast that I thought, well, how is that possible? And then we go into the depth, because also you can do the chakra programs, and you can read what on the chakras, what is going on. And then we get into the depth, and then the issues of seeing or knowing things appears as well. And then we start to talk about it. And she said, do you want to change it? I said, yes, I would like to open up more if possible.
Yeah.
But there's also fear for that, because of old past lives and this life as well, because it wasn't safe to talk about this. And then after that, she ran the chakras with the Healy on those issues. Then I felt something going on here, and I when just 12 minutes, and when I was outside, I took my bike, and I thought, well, I feel like a little bit stoned or something like that. I thought, well, no problem. So I drove home.
It's okay, we're in Amsterdam.
And
It's normal.
It's normal. Well, the other day I've got a client. I had a client for the Atlas treatment, and she was talking about her complaints. But then all of a sudden I saw a film, and I saw her as being burnt on the stake, past life.
Burned on the stake.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because she couldn't move her head.
One
she said,
side.
I only can move my head this side. But then I saw why it was. So I told her, she says, I can imagine, I can treat it, but this is not what's going on. And then all of a sudden I heard myself saying what happened. And she looked at me, and then she started to cry. And then I thought, so I did the bars and do the TSS. And she said, is this normal? I said, what is normal? Because I have never.
What is normal, right? Like,
yeah, what is normal? Yeah.
Then I thought, well, this is amazing. So I thought I want to have one. So I sent Paul to her as well to do, and then you have had good results with headache and to really.
That's great.
So now,
I think that it's a really cool tool. It's like you said, it's preventative medicine, and it should be like our right to be able to know about this and use it, instead of going and popping pills to fix things where we could fix them before they happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that was also because I was suffering with a lot of mercury poison and heavy metals in my body, and I couldn't get rid of it. And I think it has to do with my work in hospital with all those chemicals, etc. I couldn't get rid of it. I was very tired a lot of times, and I went to a colleague of mine and said, well, the heavy metals, and I took a lot of supplements to get rid of the heavy metals, and it didn't work. And I thought, well, So it was, I had the complaints for years, and during the first, how do you call that, test with the Healy, then the liver and toxins came out, popped out as well.
Wow.
So when I bought one, then I started to treat myself with it. So I treated my liver and I treated toxins, and within a few weeks, I guess, within a few weeks, no toxins anymore. Well, not that
Not
it shows up. So
yeah.
and
It'd be
incredible.
interesting to do like the actual blood work and like compare things before and after, so people can like see, like visually see. Like, obviously, you're gonna feel it because you guys and everyone, you know, you see that gets better from it. But I think some people need that proof, maybe.
Yeah.
And there is proof. If you read the book The Resonance Effect, the resonance effect of Carolyn McMacken, she is from America, and she did a study of working with frequency therapy. There's the resonance effect, it's called, and she that's also that she has treated a lot of people with chronic disease and with pain disease, like for instance fibromyalgia, because they say in the regular in the hospital they say
it's incurable.
It's incurable, but it's not incurable. And then she found out what's going on and what frequency we need to use. You have to use to get rid of the fibromyalgia. So
wow,
and that's really worthwhile to read that book. I'm very happy to read it. The Resonance Effect, Carolyn McMacken.
Yeah, and so Lorena, you know that like I have issues with grounding that I've had for a while, and so one of the things that I listed to Paul when we were in the consult was like I need to get grounding down. Like I'm all out of whack, and funny enough, when it read my chakras, it said that the top chakras were very active and the bottoms were not active at all, and I was like, oh. Totally. It's like, yeah, totally. So yeah, it for me at least, it read me. It was pretty on about my main issues and that I was carrying.
Yeah, the interesting thing, it works on physical, but it also works on the mental and emotional things. And the one who was the founder of it is Marcus Schmieke, and Marcus Schmieke is a brilliant how do you call it? Inventor.
Inventor.
But he also was a monk for a long time. His what he wants is to have that everybody is healthy and happy and becomes more aligned with who we really are, with the source. And the Healy has frequencies as well, not only working on the physical body, but also on the awareness. So this is really interesting because it raises the awareness of the people, like access bars as well, but there's apparatus does it as well, and that's the interesting thing. That's
seems like it would bring you to like to homeostasis in a way, right? Like for your body to be in balance and for you to like mentally, physically, and spiritually feel balanced and feel like like you're yourself.
Exactly.
So we came this came across last year in September, and now a lot of people here in about 100 countries, I think, in the world, that they've got now access to the
Wow. You'll have to send us all the info so we can send it to all the listeners as well.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And it's I heard North America is open for the Healy as well, but you can you have the website. People can have a look on the website. You can become a member, but you cannot just. It's not possible now at the moment to buy one. But you can become a member, and as soon as we know
it's possible.
In
the States, okay.
Is that because they can't get that apparatus shipped to them in the States? Is that why?
It has to do with all kinds of rules and regulations. And the apparatus is approved already, but there are some other things that they need to manage it because, well, like sometimes they don't want. This will be a big. The pharmacy doesn't
yes
this in the world, of course, because because they don't earn money on healthy people, and this will maintain your
health.
your health.
Yeah, these pharmaceutical and like insurance companies, medical insurance, they thrive off of people being sick and being on medicine and having to go see the doctor and get surgery and this and that. That's the way it works, unfortunately.
So it makes us happy. We are in a very it works with the teams, with members. If you are enthusiastic about it, then you can talk about it with other people, and if they want to buy, then you have to like I did with Lucia, I explain how it works and what you can do with it. And if people want to have one, then they can buy one via the website. And then
it's in a network, so it's not in a shop.
Not in a shop because you have to. If you like, I'm a sponsor. If somebody wants to have one and want to do the test, I will explain how to do that correctly.
Okay. Yeah. So at least you explain the method, everything, and then they can decide from there.
Yeah.
And the fact that people can do it on them, like they can buy it, understand it, and do it on themselves, and just have it as like part of their daily life. I find that fascinating, like amazing.
Yeah. I definitely one day want to get one down the line and try it out.
Yeah, we are just back from Spain. We had a holiday, but we were very, 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 very busy. And although we do run the bars, we were still very, very too much busy. So, when I did a test, it saw immune system and extreme stress. I thought, I can
imagine.
I can imagine. So when we came in Spain, we sat there on the mountain, and we stayed with a lady, and the lady said, "Well, I can show you this," and then said, "I just want to sit in the sun. I don't
leave me alone."
Nothing. Because stress, immune system, and then you have that same. And then we treat the immune system stress, extreme stress, to get the frequencies to get out of the system. And
I need it for my immune system. I'm like sick all the time.
She's sick once a month now.
I'm sick right now. Like I'm sick all the time.
Okay. Yeah. So after that, I used it. I have just one day. There's a little bit. How do you call it?
Runny nose.
But that was all. And just one day. Well, I can handle that.
Yeah, that's great. Hello.
I've been sick for 3 days. I'll take one day.
It's really interesting. So I'm so happy with it, and not only for the physical thing, but also that it does, because normally, of course, you would say, why do you have to work a little less instead of doing so much? But well, sometimes because we were going on holiday, we thought, well, okay, just this and that and that and that. Okay, we did a lot of work, but then. Normally, if you become sick, you have to look. It has to do with emotional things, etc., and with food, and a lot of this works holistic. So it doesn't work only on the physical body, because then if you don't get a message, why are you become ill, for instance, then something else would show up. But this works on the awareness as well, and that's the great thing, I think.
Yeah, I will be eventually contacting you and be like, Paul, give me one of those. Give me the goods, man.
In America, it's not so. America, you would be the first. If people want to have more information, they can look at the website. And
the majority of our listeners are from the US and UK. Does the UK have access to it?
Access also. Yeah. And the interesting thing is, on the website there are a lot of filmpjes. Movies that you can see about what a Healy is, and a lot of explanation about it. And the Healy is just a device, and there are you download an app, and on the app then there are a lot of different programs, and you can choose. You can choose what you.
You have like one for meditation. You have like, for example, one for detoxing. You have I remember I thought of my sister, anxiety, panic attacks. There was programs for all of that.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. And if you are, you said, if you, if you have a regular 9-to-5 job and you want to become a healer or something like that. Well, if this is brand new, so if you are want to have that people that you want to
Like help with it.
help other people, and you want to deliver, how do you call that, deliver a value, something of value for their health, then this can be very beneficial. And it is interesting also because you don't sell Heelys, but you sell, if you like, we are very enthusiastic about it. And I've got a good name as a therapist, so I don't want to sell rubbish. I don't want to sell anything, but I can talk about this because I'm enthusiastic about it. And if people buy it because of the work you do, you get money from the Healy as well. So you can do a business with that as well. It's not the main thing because I want to.
It's not necessary.
It's not necessary if people don't want it. You don't have to. If you don't have to do that. But if somebody wants one, you need people to explain how it works and to get them acquainted with it.
Yeah.
And it's not in the shop. So we are in Holland here. We in our group we have a nice team with all kinds of healers. Also, therapists with who are acquainted with access bars, with access consciousness, with here, how do you call it, acupuncture, etc. So all kinds of interesting people, and it's very nice to meet and to exchange. How do you work with it? And like the acupuncturist is a friend of mine. He said, well, if you have this or that complaint, you can say, well, put a sticker on that place and that place and run that and that program, and then it will help with that and that issue. So that's really interesting. So it's a lot to learn. So I always like to learn new things. So, well, this is
very cool. Very cool.
Really nice. Yeah.
We didn't get to all the questions because we just got into so many things, but we've already taken up a lot of your time, so we'll let you guys go. But thank you so much for sharing with us. Let everybody know where they can reach you. I don't know, whatever website you want to share.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
We'll also be putting it on the bio with the episode, so they can find those links there too.
Well, it's the Conscious Health School Amsterdam but it's nice if you come to Amsterdam, but if you want to learn the bars, just look at accessconsciousness.com, and in every country you can learn the bars.
Yeah.
And if you think, well, I like to go to Amsterdam, then you're more than welcome. We give English classes as well.
This is true. I was there.
Yeah.
So, and if you want to know more about the Healy, then it's a long link, it's better.
We'll include it in the show notes. That's perfect. Thank you.
And your personal website, we'll put it there for them too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's great.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, so they can contact you if you have any questions or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. It was
Thank
so
you.
nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
Okay.
Yes.
And have a great time in the Cayman Islands.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's warm here
jealous.
compared to Holland.
Well, it's cold here today.
Yeah, hopefully when I go to Holland next, I'll stop by and visit you guys. And maybe get some stuff done on me. Some access bars.
I've done on me. Yeah.
I love it.
Okay. Right.
All
right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you everybody for tuning into this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. And I want to say a big thank you to Paul and Paul for coming on here and chatting about so many cool topics, from hypnosis to family constellations to trauma constellations, which I didn't even really know too much about. And yeah, just giving us so much information. It was fascinating also learning about the Healy, and we have some updates on that, which we'll talk about in another episode as well. But yeah, I think it just goes to show, talking about all these different topics in one episode, how they're so open to healing and just getting your life back in balance and to live a healthy and fulfilled life. I think that's what it's about here. Be sure to follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is @soul_tribe_podcast. We also have a Facebook, so we'll put that link on our show notes. And yeah, be sure to share this episode with anybody you think might benefit from it. It's really different information, and you never know who it could help. So be sure to share. It helps us, it helps you, and it helps the people you love. And as well, if you feel called to rate and review us on iTunes, we would greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you everybody for everything. Bye.